everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at one of my favorite subreddits, r/BoomersBeingFools. If you're unfamiliar with r/BoomersBeingFools, I'll read off the description. BoomersBeingFools is for images, videos, and stories of baby boomers and elders behaving in an obnoxious, entitled, or otherwise foolish manner, paired with r/BoomersBeingBros. Now, in this subreddit, there's a lot of wacky stuff that happens. So we're just going to be listing off some funny, goofy little stories about some entitled or obnoxious boomers. First up, we have a screenshot of a Facebook feed. No, I can't do Snapchat or TikTok, but I can write in cursive, do math without a calculator, and tell time on a clock with hands. I mean, those things are great and all, but like, God forbid the world progresses. Boomer stands outside and yells at the building I'm in because I won't open the door. I run a storefront, and one day a boomer man brings his grandkids in. He does the whole boomer man thing of having to introduce himself to the owner, me, and is pretty chatty with me as his grandkids are looking around. Seems like a nice enough dude, but it definitely weirds me out when boomers try to get super familiar with me, even though they have no interest in what my business is. Maybe it's so they can feel chummy and brag to their friends that they know the owner. I don't know, but this guy wanted to be my best friend. Next day, he calls and says his grandson left a water bottle thermos at my shop. I take a look around, I find it, and let him know he can come by to pick it up when we open in a few hours. A few minutes before we open, I'm going around the shop getting everything ready. The phone rings, and it's a client asking me a bunch of questions. So I have the phone up to my ear as I'm going around the shop taking care of business. I see the old boomer man standing outside the front door looking through the glass. He sees me and starts waving. It's still a few minutes before we're set to open, and I'm still on this important phone call, so I kinda motion to him just a minute to let him know I see him and I'm not ignoring him and I'll be with him soon. He kinda makes a face and steps away from the door. I was literally gonna take a minute to finish opening and then let him in and let him get the bottle real quick. I finish up and I'm literally on my way to unlock and open the door. I notice him standing a few feet away and he's yelling at the building, kind of like talking up towards the air or the second story. I'm on the ground floor with his arms out like he's trying to get me to hear him out, but also just sort of complainy. I couldn't hear exactly what he was saying, but it was something like, okay, I guess I'll just leave and I don't know when I can come back again, blah, 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 on and on. Super irritated and loud. I tell the client on the phone to hang on a second, and I grab the water bottle and get outside. Just as Boomer Man is walking away, throwing his hands in the air, I say, "Excuse me, sir, I got your water bottle here." He turns around and mutters a thank you and takes it and leaves. Never saw the dude again after that. In my headcanon, I think I offended him so bad he didn't want to come back to my shop and be my friend anymore because I didn't immediately acquiesce to his needs. Not too crazy of an encounter, but it was kind of silly, so I thought I'd share. What a goofy little man coming back to get his grandkids water bottle. Usually they're problematic, but sometimes they're just silly. Yeah, I think that's the wrong picture you posted there when trying to sell your sofa. What stories do you have about old people and technology? I was told a story by my mother that left me totally speechless yesterday. My great-aunt, a published author, used to throw out her MacBooks whenever she got an update notification. She used her Macs to write her novels and insisted on owning a Mac because it was artsy, and she was that kind of woman. Thing is, she was completely computer illiterate. Every time she got an update message, like a new OS, she would assume that her MacBook was obsolete and throw it out and buy a new one. She had a decent amount of money from her book deals she made, but literally wasted thousands on unnecessary MacBook purchases. She was also an extremely proud woman and didn't like to appear stupid or ignorant, so she never asked anyone for technical help. She just kept buying MacBooks and replacing them every 3 to 9 months. She passed away last year at 75, so I don't feel too bad for sharing this story. We've never been a rich family, and I think I owned one MacBook in my life, and I made it about 5 years. So this story really made me cringe and how much money she wasted by being too proud to ask for help. That is insane. Edit, this went on for about 15 years, by the way. No one realized what she was doing until she casually mentioned to my mother how expensive getting a new MacBook was. My mother, who is very frugal, almost lost her mind when she found out how much money our aunt was wasting. That is insane that she bought a new MacBook every 3 to 9 months for 15 years because she was too proud to ask for help on what a software update was. Racist boomer lady has indigenous heritage when it's convenient. This racist boomer lady was bitching about illegals on a friend's post, then replied to my comment claiming to be a part of an indigenous tribe she couldn't even spell correctly. Even when spelled correctly, it's not the name of a tribe. It's a region or national park or a well-known native figure, but not a tribe. Borders are made up and illegal immigration is a fake crime. No human being is illegal. That's a dehumanizing term used to distract us from the real criminals. We were born where we were by blind luck, not because we're more deserving than others. Agree 100%. Amen. Anyway, you look at it, it is a crime to go into another country without proper authorization. Which native tribe will you be turning your stolen land back over to? I would love to see it. Funny you say that. I'm part Secoa Indian, so I'm not familiar with the Secoa tribe, but I'm happy to be educated. Where was their territory located before white colonization? I'm not finding it on any North American maps of native territories. Sorry, spelled wrong. Sequoia. I see. Sequoia doesn't seem to be a known tribe either. Would probably throw up some red flags on an immigration interview. See, this is the kind of person that would be like, oh, like somebody says like, oh, you're just a white person. They'd be the kind of person that'd be like, actually, I'm 0.01% Native American. Be that kind of person. And I think we all know at least one person in our lives that would say something like that. Look at his proud smile. No flair applied to the post, just foolish fun. I don't know why I have to come up with anything. That is an insane parking job. Man is like less than a quarter in the spot. Boomer freaks out at me for doing my job. My buddy recently got a food truck, and since I've been working in kitchens for 10 plus years, I've been helping him out with it. We were at an event a couple weeks ago, and it was late at night. At this point, most of the other vendors had already closed. We generally stay open until people stop ordering food. Anyways, my buddy's out chatting with some of the vendors and taking a break, so I'm running the truck alone. An older boomer gentleman comes up and orders a couple tacos. I take his money, smile at him, and ask him how his day is going. He says, fine, and glares at me. Alright, whatever. This guy is clearly pissy and just wants some food. I start making his order, and as I do, he leans in through the truck window and continues to stare me down, which already annoys me, like stay out of my space. After watching me for like 30 seconds, he told me, I work like a fucking robot. I said, thanks? I kind of took it as a compliment. I've been cooking for years, and when I know what I'm doing, I have it down to a science. I try to make everything as precise as possible to make every movement count and to time things perfectly. Apparently, that was the wrong answer. He then explodes and starts yelling, saying, if you don't like your job, just fucking quit! Keep in mind at this point, I'd been working close to 14 hours that day in a hot truck, and we had been extremely busy all day. I was straight up exhausted. The asshole's lucky we were even still open. I apologized to him, even though I had absolutely no reason to. I explain I do truly enjoy cooking, and I'm passionate about it. It's just been an extremely long day, and I was beat. He mumbles some incoherent bullshit under his breath about work ethic. I hand him his tacos, and he tells me my service is shit, and he won't be coming back. I once again apologize and say that I hope he enjoys his tacos. Weirdest experience I've had in that truck by far. For the record, I'm always friendly. I smile, I ask people how their day's going, etc. But if I can tell someone's going to be a dick, I'm not going to engage further with them. I'll make their food, I'll still be polite, but I'm not going to kiss their ass. Too long didn't read, Boomer gets pissed at me for making him food. Honestly, what is it with the boomers stereotype? And like boomers always like, if they see someone younger than them, they immediately say, oh, you have no work ethic, you're allergic to work, service sucks, I won't be coming back here. Like, brother, calm down. Boomer gave my son with celiac food with wheat on purpose. I don't know how to say celiac, if I'm being totally for real. I know like what it is, but I don't really know the proper way to say it. 9-year-old son went to a sleepover. Because he is celiac, I purposefully packed snacks/breakfast for him. His friend lives with his parents and granddad, and as soon as the granddad hears about the allergy, he starts going on about how these allergies didn't exist when he was a kid, blah, blah, blah. I show up the next morning, and my son is throwing up in green. The mom apologetically tells me that the granddad purposefully switched the breakfast to one with wheat. I am normally mild-tempered, but I did yell at him, and he can't let go that I used an F-bomb. Anyways, the mom apologizes a few more times, and I spend the rest of the day nursing my son back to health. Update, I spoke to the mom, and she agreed I should press charges. We are pretty good friends. I feel she's pretty sick of his BS too, and this was a last straw for her as well. I mean, I think I would be pissed too if my boomer dad was poisoning kids because he chose to believe that an allergy didn't exist. Got yelled at for using Control F. I'm working for a small family business owned by boomers while I go back to school. They have some unusual ways of doing things and are generally fearful of technology. To track employee time off, they have a spreadsheet with every day of the year along the top row and a list of employees going down the column on the left. They were showing me how to use it. This is a large spreadsheet, so I use Control F to find the employee in the list. Ensue frantic yelling, "Don't do that! Scroll! Scroll!" I ask why, to which they respond, "I just don't like that!" I explain how Control F works, which they are not interested in. They go on to explain to me that it will delete something. It is at this point that I learn they spent hours manually entering every day of the year into the spreadsheet and are afraid I will delete some of those dates. I stand up from the desk and politely offer them the driver's seat so they can scroll to their heart's content, which they gladly accepted. Like, okay, if you want to do something your way, like, do it your way. But don't get mad when somebody has, like, something else. Like, don't get mad because somebody chose to do it differently. Oh, another one on keyboard shortcuts. Reading yesterday's post brought up some deep-seated PTSD from a job I had about a decade, 10 years ago, for people who are saying I can't math ago. Some old bitch sat in the cubicle next to me. Let's call her Virginia, because that was her name. Complained to my boss that I was hacking because I was regularly using Control-C, X, and V, as one does, to copy-paste things. Or Control-Tab to navigate tables. This old biddy would take the mouse and click to go from field to field. I may be a lot of things, asshole is one of them, but computer virgin I am not. I used to work in hospital pharmacy in the late 90s and early 2000s on terminal-based systems. There was no GUI. Hell, there wasn't even a mouse. You must learn the keyboard shortcuts. But since she was 50 years older than I was, I swear she was like 900 years old, I must clearly be cheating. The fact that I, a 35-year-old pharmacist at the time, was more proficient in the medical record computer system than she was despite her 40 years of company service remained a complete alien concept to her tiny, smooth little brain. The boss did come by, stared at me for a while, and just walked away shaking his head. He never brought it up during our one-to-ones, but this wasn't the first time that horrible woman tried to throw me under the bus for, checks notes, doing my job. Boomers don't understand that some younger people actually have a work ethic. We just prefer to work smarter, not harder. If we were in the Dark Ages, she'd probably try and have me burned as a witch. Fuck you, Virginia. You are the reason your husband left you with your kids, and you don't see your grandchildren. I feel much better for getting this off my chest. Good for you! Okay, video over. I hope you enjoyed the stories. Yeah, this is my dip into the Reddit video genre. And we were probably going to be seeing more of this from me because I like reading Reddit stories. Yeah, hope you had a good one. Bye.